Okay guys, welcome to guard retention video. This is a guard retention video on loose passing. Loose passing can be a scary thing. Your opponent's jumping from one side to the other. I'm going to show you guys some very key details to stop that from happening, and you're going to conserve a lot of energy if you're able to follow these drills. Let's give it a try. Okay guys, first and most important thing when somebody's trying to pass my guard, okay? My partner has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee. Now he's really in an aggressive position, okay? He's past my hip line. I want to keep always my partner behind my knees, behind my feet. I want to protect my hips. I don't want him touching my hips ever. But he got one hand inside, one hand on the knee, and he starts to flank. Whenever somebody does this, guys, the first thing I want to do is I want to keep his head on the same side of his hips. Okay, you can see that his head now is on the right side of my body and his hips are on the right side of my body. If he tries to close the distance with his head and hips on the same side, he becomes very vulnerable to different attacks that we're going to see. Okay, I'm going to be able to attack him in a variety of ways, and it's going to be very difficult for him to close the distance. Even if he gets on his knees here, get on your knees, and he gets really, really close. If his head and hips are on the same side, he's not in a good position to secure side control. Why? Because from here I have so many possibilities of how I can attack him, and we're going to see these things in a little bit. Okay, we're going to see all these attacks, but it's really important that I keep his head and hips on the same side of his body. If his head travels to the other side of my body, you can see now he has a nice perpendicular position on top of me. Now he could use his weight to immobilize me and make life difficult. Okay, you saw he brought his head to one side of my body, on the left side of my body, and his hips are on the right side of my body. Now he has control of both sides. Okay, I want to keep his head on the same side of his hips. Okay, so his head and hips have to be on the same side. If I do this, it's going to be really easy for me to bring my legs in. It's going to be really easy for me to attack this arm. It's going to be really easy for me to spin underneath him. Okay? But the second he gets his head and hips on opposite sides of my body, now he has more control over my hips. Now I'm carrying a lot more weight. Now I'm spending a lot more energy. This is what I want to avoid. I want to avoid having his head on one side and his hips on the other. Okay? So how do we do this? How do we make sure he keeps his head on the same side of his hips? Well, once he starts passing, look, as soon as he starts passing, I take the heel of my palm and I attack the head above the ear. Okay, you can see now I'm bending Neil's neck. Okay, if I go on the collarbone, it's not bad, but you can see that his spine now is nice and straight, and now he's in a nice linear position where he can put pressure on me. Okay, don't move. If I use the heel of my palm and I attack above the ear, I'm going to be bending his neck. Okay, I'm going to be bending his neck, and I'm going to be pushing his head towards his legs. Okay. I'm also shrimping away from him. Okay, so I'm pushing him to my right and I'm shrimping to my left. I'm trying to create a maximum distance between me and my opponent. Okay, when I'm doing this, my partner might switch side. He might switch to the other side, start passing to the other side. Look, I'm also going to switch side with him. Okay? And as I'm doing this, you can see that I'm forcing his head on the same side of his hips. If he tries to close the distance here, it's going to be very difficult. You can see that his arms are vulnerable, and now I'm going to be able to attack him. However, if I work around his chest, and you can see that his head now is starting to work its way to the right side of my body, it's going to be much more difficult for me to create space and work my legs back inside. It's going to be much more difficult for me to attack him. Here, it's a much more powerful position for the man on top as opposed to this. See? When I have his head and hips on the same side of my body, now you're going to have a lot of freedom to do all the attacks we're going to see. Okay, so the most important thing you need to get right when somebody's trying to X-pass you, they're putting one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee, and they start to go to a flank, or they start circling around your body, is you got to shrimp and you got to bring his head to the same side of his body. Okay, don't forget, we're attacking above the ear. Okay, I don't want to push on the ear or below the ear. If I push below the ear, look, his spine is straight. It's very difficult now for me to get his head to the right side of my body, and you can see now I'm starting to feel the pressure. As Neil closes the distance now, his head is on one side of my body, his hips are on the other. It's going to be very difficult to do any of the maneuvers we're about to see. It's all predicated on the fact that you're bringing his head and hips on the same side. Now everything we're going to be doing from here is going to be really easy. Okay, guys, you want to make life easy for yourself? When somebody tries to pass your guard, push their head to the same side of their hips. From there, it's going to be easy to do all sorts of attacks. Let's give it a try. Okay guys, first maneuver we're doing is we're doing the foot block. Okay, we're blocking our partner with our foot. He puts one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee. He starts to walk to the side. I attack the top of the head. I'm putting his head on the same side of his hips. And look at that gap it creates. Okay, I'm shrimping to one hip here. You can see I'm not flat on my back. I'm gonna swing my leg over and put my foot right in his collarbone. Okay, this is the most powerful. That's why we're putting it first in the video. This is the most powerful attack, counter attack, okay, to a guard pass. I put my foot in the in the collarbone, and now I have my hand on the top of his head. His head is being forced to the same side of his legs, okay? Now, there's really very little chance he's gonna pass if I get this position, okay? Common mistake is my partner, when he passes, people frame on the shoulders and chest. Now trying to put your foot inside, you can see it's quite difficult. Guys, aim for the top of the head if you can, bend his neck, shrimp away. Now you're gonna have a nice open gap here. You could put your foot inside, it doesn't take too much flexibility. You can see that my right hand is on his elbow and bicep, okay? From here, guys, it's gonna be really easy enough for me to recenter myself. I'm gonna push my partner away gently, and I'm gonna recenter just like so, okay? I'm always keeping my partner behind the soles of my feet, and now I have a very good position to start attacking, okay? Let's do it again from this angle. My partner has one hand on the hip, he starts to pass. I wanna stop him from passing. I attack the head, I'm pushing the head on the top above the ear, and I'm pushing his head towards his hips. My foot comes into the collarbone, assists, and now I have a very nice control. From here, I'm gonna pummel my bottom leg wherever I see fit, and I'm keeping my partner behind my knee line. Okay? So on this side, same thing. My partner has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee, he starts to pass. We block the top of the head, we shrimp, it creates a nice gap here. I put my foot in that gap, and now I have a very strong control. I'm controlling also his left arm, guys, because if I don't control that left arm, he could use it to maybe attack this foot. Okay, can you attack this foot? Like drag maybe? Yeah, like drag. And now look, he starts to, follow up on his passes. It's okay, I would just do the same exact thing. I would push the top of the head, block this arm, pummel my leg right into the collarbone, and from here I can create a distance, okay? A major part of retaining guard is creating distance between you and your partner, so he cannot breach, okay? Now that I've created distance, I can start to spin underneath and attack my partner, okay? So the whole goal is to create a little bit of space so you could spin underneath, okay? The foot block is one of the most powerful and important maneuvers in guard retention. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, we're gonna see how to go into a lasso. My partner has a hand on the hip, hand on the knee. He starts to flank. Again, we're putting the heel of the palm above the ear. We're pushing his head to the same side of his hips. Instead of going foot block, we're gonna lasso. Okay, why are we gonna lasso? Because sometimes the lasso is gonna allow me a connection where I can kind of hang out here and attack him. Okay, because the foot block is really good for defense. It pushes him away, but it's hard for me to go maybe attack him. Okay, maybe now I wanna really follow up with an attack. I want my partner to get a little closer to me so I can exchange with him. Okay, so this is a little bit weaker in terms of defense, but it's more aggressive in terms of offense, okay? Whenever you put a lasso in like so, my partner, he could always peel his arm out and just put the hand right back on your hip, see? Now in a lasso, it becomes a cycle. He peels his arm and he puts it on my hip. Whenever he puts it on my hip, it creates pressure now. Now I'm feeling the pain here. I'm suffering underneath because I don't have my leg between me and him. If I pummel my foot inside, now when he puts weight on me, it's really being carried by my leg. It's quite comfortable for me. I'm not under any pressure. I'm not getting squeezed here by the weight of my opponent and the floor. I'm really relaxed here, okay? Whenever I'm fighting from the bottom, I gotta be in a relaxed position because if he's making me work, eventually he's gonna start draining my energy, okay? So when I have the lasso in, I'm doing really well. He could just pummel his arm out, see? Pummel your arm out and just grab that hip again and start putting pressure here. And now look, things are getting heavy. It's not a good situation, okay? Guys, whenever you put your lasso in, you shrimp, you create space, you put your lasso in, trap that tricep. Okay, see how my hand goes to the tricep now. Now when Neil tries to pummel his arm, he's stuck. Go ahead, take your arm out. He's completely stuck, okay? Now from here, guys, once I have the lasso, again, just for now, for the sake of the video, we're just gonna regard, okay? You're gonna put your foot on his hip, and now you're controlling both sides of his body, okay? I'm gonna do it again. The lasso is one of the big three, it's super important. He starts to pass, I push the head. That makes it really easy for me to pummel my legs in. I throw my lasso in and I trap that tricep. Once I trap that tricep, Neil, can you pass my guard here? Try to pass my guard. It becomes really easy for me to follow him and put my right foot on his hip, okay? Let's do it again from this angle. My partner has a hand on the hip, that's really, really bad. I wanna take this out. I have to attack this side of his body, okay? He starts to pass. I create space between his head and that arm, okay? I pummel my lasso inside. I trap that tricep and I relax here, okay? Now I have a nice position. If he tries to put weight on me, put your head on my chest here, I could relax under this pressure. And from here, I'm gonna be attacking my partner. We're gonna see that a little bit later in the video, okay? Guys, one of the most important techniques for retaining guard is the lasso. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, in the big three, my partner has his hand on my hip, he has his hand on my knee, he starts to flank. When he flanks, I use the heel of my palm, I shrimp, I'm creating space, I go into my lasso, but he's blocking me. Look how he flared his elbows. He's not letting me pass my leg, I'm trying to keep your elbow down. I'm trying to go foot block. I'm trying to go lasso. I'm trying to control this arm. And look, all he does is a simple flare. Okay, open him. Guys, in a real X-Pass, my partner's head's going to be in my thigh. Can you get your head in front of my thigh? Now Neil is moving his head out of the way so you guys have a better view. But look how tight my partner is going to want to be. That's why I cannot allow his head to be on the left side of my body. This is going to be very difficult for me to get past, okay? So in the initial movement, I cannot allow him to get his head in front of my thigh. He's going to be trying really desperately to get his head in front of my thigh so he can block my outside leg. Okay? As he starts passing, look, I blocked his head, but he still has his elbow to block my thigh. See, every time I try to pummel my leg, and look how he blocks. I'm just going to take my arm out of the way so you guys get a good view. Dylan, let's zoom in here a little bit. Look how he's following me. See, we call this flaring the elbow. Can you open your elbow? Yeah, look, he's not letting me get around up and above. Okay, when this happens, don't move. I'm just going to quickly pummel to the inside. Okay, so I'm going to go to a knee shield. So here I'm fighting with my partner. It's his elbow versus my leg. Okay, his elbow versus my leg. If I go over to try to foot block, he doesn't allow me. I try to go under to knee shield, he blocks me. See, and then from there, look, I could pummel my lasso. Okay, it could work the other way. I try to pummel a lasso, he blocks me. Don't move. I quickly pummel my knee inside. Okay, once I pummel my knee inside, it's called a knee shield. Again, guys, you're cooking here. You're in good business. You can bring your other foot in, and now you've retained guard. Okay, this is really important. Okay, your leg must beat his arm. Okay? Let's do it again. Back to regular position here. My partner starts to pass. As he passes, I create space. I'm trying to force his head and free my leg here. He's now using his his elbow. He wants to use his head and elbow. Get your head and elbow together. This is bad for me, guys. This is bad. This guy's got a really good control over my left leg. If I can create space here, and now I have to beat his elbow. Can you flare your elbow? Keep it connected to my thigh. See, he's following me. I gotta quickly get past the goalie. Okay, what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to go to foot block. I'm trying to go to lasso, or I'm trying to go to knee shield. Okay, so it's my leg versus his arm. If my leg can zigzag back and forth between those three attacks faster than his arm, I'm going to relieve the pressure. And now you can see I put my foot on his hip and I'm back to square position with my partner where I can start attacking from my guard. Okay, let's do it again from this angle. My partner has a hand on the hip. He has a hand on the knee. He starts to flank. I shrimp it. I push his head to the inside. I pummel my lasso inside. Look how he blocked me. I go to knee shield. So I go back to the inside. Those are the big three most important maneuvers for your left leg. See it on this side. My left leg's got to beat his right arm. Okay, so he starts passing. There's a little war going on here. Okay, I need to bring this leg in. If I bring this leg in, it's going to alleviate all his top pressure. I'm trying to get in. He's blocking me. Don't move. Look how I quickly zigzag back in to knee shield. Okay, guys, you have the foot block, foot in the collarbone. You have the lasso, and now you have the knee shield. Pummel your leg to the inside and stop that top pressure. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, my opponent has his hands on my shins. Okay, this is very common. You're playing off your back. He puts his hands on my shins. The first thing you see is that I have my hands wide. Okay, I have my elbows wide on the floor and I'm controlling my knees. That's going to give me extra stability. If Neil tries to throw my legs to the side, my elbows are blocking him. Okay, if I'm going, I reach for his hands with my hands. If I go here like so, Neil now can tilt me. Can you tilt me? This is a problem for me now. You can see now he's starting to expose my back. He's starting to expose the outside of my leg. He can close the distance on me. Okay, so now if he closes the distance on me, my knees are pointing away from his body. It's going to be very difficult for me to turn back in here. It's a lot of energy. Okay, let's go back. My knees are tight into my chest and my elbows are wide on the ground, as wide as possible. Okay, I don't want to be here like this. This is no good. I got to have my elbows as wide as possible. And now look, I'm supporting my knees. Okay, now my hands are to the outside of my body. If Neil tries to throw me to the side here. Go ahead. See, I'm stable. Go ahead. See? So I can't use my hands to take his hands off because if I do, if I go reach for his hands, he's just going to tilt me here. And now he got me on one hip. I'm in trouble. He's starting to flank towards the back. Okay. It's really important that we make a nice wide base. The knees are in our chest. Okay. Our hips are off the floor. When your hips are off the floor, you see you don't have stability. Okay, you're like a little ball on the ground. But when you put those elbows, you create a pyramid shape with your elbows. Now you have nice stability. Once Neil makes contact with my shins, I'm going to use my foot. I'm going to use the inside of my foot here, the blade of my foot, to go into his bicep. Okay, I'm going to go into a spider guard. I'm going to push his arm away. Now remember, you can take one knee out of your chest. That's fine. But you can never take two knees out of your chest. Okay, I always want to have two knees in my chest or one knee in my chest. But when I'm playing guard, I never take 2 knees out of my chest, okay? If you take 2 knees out of your chest, look, you can see I'm very vulnerable here. If Neil throws my legs to the side, he's gonna close the distance. My knees are not between me and him. He's gonna attack me. He's gonna get the better of me, okay? My knees are in my chest. I have a nice wide base with my elbows. You can see that my head and shoulders off the ground. Okay? It's also very important. My partner puts his hands on my shins, okay? Not the ankles, the shins. This is very typical. He wants to start passing here. He wants to throw me to the side. Try to throw me to the side. See, it's very difficult. I have a nice base here. I'm quickly gonna use my foot. Instead of my hand, I'm gonna use my foot, okay? Once I get my foot in the spider guard here, once I spin my foot inside, now I can use my hand, see? Now I can use my hands to help with the other side. You can see that I kept one knee tight in my chest. Even though I did spider guard on the other side, it's still tight in my chest. Now Neil's position is not so strong. I'm grabbing his wrist, I'm gonna find a 2-on-1, and I'm gonna put my foot on his hip, okay? Whenever I grab a 2-on-1, I have one hand on the wrist, one hand on the elbow, it's fine. You could also have 2 hands on the wrist if you like, okay? Don't worry about which way exactly to hold the 2-on-1. Grab that arm as any which way you feel comfortable, okay? Now from here, I could start to pivot, see? Once I start to pivot, I like to spin right into my K guards, okay? Guys, I have a video on K guard, ultimate K guard. I highly, highly recommend it. This is my favorite guard. I think it's the strongest guard, okay? I'm not gonna go into full K guard details because this is a retention video, but this is a great way to enter K guard. Okay, let's do it again from this side. My partner's here. He puts his hands on my shins. I don't use my hands like so, okay? Because if he makes a quick movement, he could dump me to my side, and now I'm in a lot of trouble here, okay? Disaster. He's on my shins. Look how I pummel my foot, see? I pummel my foot. Okay, hold here. I pummel the blade of my foot. Let's rotate a little bit. I pummel the blade of my foot. I extend my leg. 1 knee out of your chest is fine, but never 2. I do the same thing on the other side, but to a lesser extent, see? I kept my knee in my chest. Okay, I don't want to do this here, where he can make a quick move, and now look, I find myself with no protection, okay? No knees between me and him. He makes contact with my shins. I pummel, I strip his grip, and now I put my foot on his hip and I have a 2-on-1. He's gonna be fighting hard to retract this arm, okay? When he retracts this arm, it's gonna help me spin. See, that's what I want. I wanna make contact with his legs, okay? He was making contact with my legs. Now I turn the tables on him. I pummel my legs free and I grabbed his leg. From here, I'm gonna start attacking, okay? This is a very strong position for me, very bad position for him. Guys, let's see what's happening here. He's grabbing my legs. I have no control over his legs, okay? I'm gonna attack the arms to get to the legs, okay? I'm gonna attack the arms. I'm gonna go from the arms to the hips, from the hips to the legs. Okay, so here we go. I pummel my foot inside. I strip his grip or pressure off my shin. Okay, there's no pressure now on my leg. I do the same thing on the other side. Look how I use the inside of my leg here, the outside of my foot to the inside of his bicep, and I strip his grip. And now look, my foot is on his hip bone now. Okay? From here, as he's retracting, it's gonna even help me to spin underneath and start attacking K-guard, and now it's gonna be a really easy thing for me to start bending his leg and exposing his back and scoring my attacks, okay? One more time from this angle here. My partner makes contact with my shins. I pummel my foot inside. I pummel, and now look where I am. I'm in a nice open guard position. Even if my partner frees this arm, guys, I can quickly start shrimping to my De La Riva attacks or whatnot, okay? I'm stripping his grips off my legs. I'm making contact with his arms and I'm attacking his legs. Okay, he's here one more time. Pummel my foot inside, pummel my spider guard inside. I'm making contact. I've stripped his grips here. I have control. I have a pivoting position. And now I'm gonna spin into my favorite guard. Okay? Of course, you can go De La Riva, reverse De La Riva. You can enter a different type of attacks, okay? This is a great way to counter somebody trying to control your shins. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, my partner is grabbing me at the ankles. When he grabs me at the ankles, I can't use spider guard anymore, okay? What I can do is I can spin my legs towards the inside. You see that gap between his thumb and his fingers? I'm just gonna spin my leg around in a circle, okay? When I do this, look, I spin my leg around in a circle, it breaks the grip, okay? It doesn't matter how strong he is, doesn't matter how much pressure he puts, I'm gonna be able to free my leg, okay? I'm gonna free both legs. Look how I spin both legs. Once I spin both legs, look how I kind of bring my hands to the outside of my legs, and I'm protecting him from grabbing them again. See, now when he tries to grab them again, I'm gonna grab his wrists. And from there, I'm gonna go back to that spider guard attack that we did earlier, okay? See it again. My partner grabbed my ankles. I have a nice wide base, like we talked about. I open my elbows. I'm free from a quick Toriando pass. Try to throw my legs to the side. I'm safe here. See, I'm blocking the ground. I'm nice and stable. I'm opening my knees wide, and I'm pretty safe here, okay? I'm actually very, very safe. From here, I'm gonna pummel my leg free, look. And now look, once I pummel my leg free, I'm not gonna give him another grip. See how my hands now, they're close by my ankles. Okay, because this guy's not reaching for my shins. If he reaches for my shins, it's going to be easy for me to go back to spider guard and grab his wrist. Okay, I need control of his wrist. But when he's reaching really at the ankles, it's hard for me to grab those wrists. It's very difficult. Okay, so look, I pummel my legs free. I don't allow him that grip. Okay, now when he goes for it again, look how my hands are close to my ankles. When he reaches for my ankles, I go back to that spider guard style position where we're going 2-on-1 and we're spinning. We're using the spinning attack like we did earlier. Okay, let's see it again. My partner made contact with my ankles. He tries to throw me to the side. I have a nice frame. He's not able to. I break free by spinning my legs towards the inside. Okay. Now when he tries to grab me again, it's going to be very difficult. I hide my ankles with my hands. Now when he tries to make a grip, I'm going to be grabbing his arm first. Okay. And now look where I am. I'm back in open guard, trying to spin, trying to establish De La Hiva, trying to establish whatever guard I prefer playing. Okay. This is a very simple counter. It's super trustworthy. My knees are in my chest. He reaches for my ankles. I spin. Now I keep my knees in my chest, guys. I cannot have my knees extended and try to defend my ankles. The knees have to be in your chest, okay? I'm here like so, and now you can see that my hands easily reach my ankles. As he grabs my ankles, look, I'm back in the same position we were earlier. Okay? Guys, if you keep your knees tight into your chest and you cover your ankles with your hands, he won't be able to grab your ankles without you intercepting him. Okay, it's going to be quite easy. It's not going to be a difficult thing. As long as you have good position. Knees in the chest, cover your ankles with your hands. He's not able to attack your ankles anymore. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up. We talked about making initial contact. I'm protecting myself well, but this time, look, my partner, can you go on just like this? My partner's going to walk to the side. Okay, when he walks to the side, he's not making contact with me. But you'll notice now I gotta get to one hip because he's walking around my body here and he's getting at an angle. If I stay in a straight line now, he's gonna start pushing on the back of my knee here. He's gonna start passing. This is really bad for me, right? Go back. So he's out in front of me and he starts to make an angle without making contact. Look what I'm doing with my legs here. You can see that I'm pointing the sole of my foot towards his chest. Okay, I always want to point the sole of my foot towards his pecs, his chest area. Okay, this is very, very important. Now you can see my feet are at least one sole. Okay, always one foot pointing towards the center of his chest. When he starts to walk to the side, I gotta find another foot now that's gonna point to the center of his chest. Okay, can you go back? We said that we're gonna make like a pyramid shape with our hands and our elbows. You can see my elbows are wide, my hands are on my knees. If you try to quick move here to throw my legs to the side, he wouldn't be able to because I have this nice base here. I created a base with my elbows. But now look, when he flanks to the side, I bring my hands to the inside. Okay, I no longer need them on the outside. Okay, because if I keep them on the outside now, I'm kind of blocking myself from pointing towards him. Okay, so I don't want my arm anymore to the outside. Can you go back? When somebody's out in front of me, it's okay to have your hands on the outside and creating that pyramid shape. Once they start to flank, guys, once they start to take one direction, now I go to the other position. Okay, now I have my hands on the inside. Because whatever he does to attack me, he's gonna have to meet my hands. Okay, he's gonna have to meet my hands. This gives me that extra layer of protection. Okay, so when somebody's out in front of me, your hands are to the outside, your elbows are nice and wide. Once they start to flank, you want to bring your hands to the inside. Okay, and you can see it kind of creates like a diamond shape. Okay, so like two triangles. My arms are creating one triangle, and my legs are creating an inverted triangle. Okay, so sometimes we call this like the diamond shape. You're creating a diamond shape. Okay, so the elbows are on the inside of the legs. They're on top of the legs, that's fine, but not on the outside of the legs. Okay, so on top or inside, okay, you're creating that diamond shape. Now, there's an extra layer of defense. Yeah? My partner, sometimes he's gonna touch my leg to try to trick me, you know, which side he's going, and then he's gonna jump to the flank, okay? When he jumps to the flank, look how I bring my sole of my foot pointing towards his chest. I bring my hands to the inside. I bring my elbows to the inside of my knee. Okay, I'm making that diamond shape. If he tries to close the distance now, he's gonna meet my upper body and lower body at the same time. It's gonna be quite difficult for him to attack. Okay? My partner's out in front of me. Look how I have my elbows and hands to the outside of my legs. He makes a quick move. They pummel to the inside of my legs. Okay? Now when he tries to meet me here, he's gonna find a lot of traps that we're gonna see later. He's gonna see a lot of dangerous attacks that I'm gonna go into. Okay? Can you do it to the other side, but do it slowly, okay? So he's out here in front of me. If he makes an initial contact, I'm gonna be pummeling, grabbing him and spinning. Okay? Now he tries to flank. When he flanks, I keep the sole of my foot pointing towards his chest, elbows come into the inside, and now I have a very nice defense. Okay? Even if my partner tries to make north-south position, go ahead, it's gonna be very difficult because my legs and arms are well organized. Okay, we're gonna talk about north-south later. Can you go back? But my legs and arms are well organized. Okay? He's not making too much contact, but he's flanking. Even if he has contact, flank, flank. Look, when he flanks, look how I pummel my arm to the inside of my leg. Now when he tries to make contact, he's giving me a good position, okay? If he comes forward here, I'm gonna be able to sweep or submit him from here, okay? Let's go over here this way. My hands are to the outside. My head and shoulders are off the mat, okay? This is very important, okay? You don't wanna grapple like this. This is no good, it's making you slow. He goes to the side. He starts putting a little pressure here. As he goes to the side, the foot is always pointing towards the chest, and my hands come to the inside. I'm creating that diamond shape, okay? Super important stuff. Hands to the outside, hands to the inside, okay? Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up. Whenever you're playing guard retention, you always have to control both sides of your partner's body, okay? If ever both my legs are on one side of his body, get a little closer, now I'm finding myself in trouble, okay? My partner's almost always trying to get both my legs to one side of his body, okay? If this happens, he's gonna be able to apply his weight on me, and he's gonna make me work, he's gonna make me fatigued. Okay, let's move back just a touch. Whenever somebody tries to do that, go to the side, I always have to throw my leg up and over and control the other side of his body. You can see once I have control of both sides of his body, I'm totally safe, okay? Just because I threw my leg over the top, I don't wanna have to put my other leg on that side too, because now you can see both my legs are on his left side. He's gonna flank to the other side easily, right? You always have to control both sides of his body no matter what, okay? The second one side is not controlled, that's the side he's gonna pass, okay? So if my partner throws my legs to the side, you can see here, I'm connecting my knee and elbow, he's closing the distance, I'm shrimping, and now I'm gonna throw my leg over the top, okay? Guys, when you throw your leg over the top, you have to control the original side, okay? So I'm here, I have control over his right side. When I throw my leg up and over to the other side, I have to maintain this control, okay? I don't wanna like retract my leg and have both feet on one side, he's gonna pass, okay? So we're constantly always finding ways to control both sides of our partner's body. We said our partner, if he flanks us, we're gonna point the sole of our foot to his chest. Well, my partner might make a quick move to the other side. Go ahead, make a quick move to the other side. Look how I connect my knee and elbow, and now I'm gonna throw my leg over the top. Don't move. You can see both my legs are on his left side. That's no good. We can't allow that, okay? So that's why we throw our leg over. We call it oftentimes the windshield wiper. Some people call it the high leg. You throw that leg over, okay? Before you throw that leg over, you gotta connect your knee and elbow. You gotta try to create space between you and your opponent. And once you create space, it's gonna be easier, okay? The more space you create, the easier it's gonna be. I'm gonna throw my leg in a giant circle over the top, and I'm gonna go and control the right side of Neil's body. Now you can see I have control of both sides of his body, like so. Once I have control or contact with both sides of his body, I'm gonna be easily able to center, okay? Go back to center. Now he's gonna rush to the other side. As he rushes to the other side, I connect my knee and elbow. If he closes the distance here, close the distance, he's nice and tight. Look how I have my knee and elbow. It's very difficult for him to pass here. I'm gonna have to shrimp and create space. Remember we talked about putting his head and hips on the same side of our body. We're gonna shrimp, we're gonna shrimp, we're gonna shrimp, and now we're gonna throw our leg over to the other side. Once I throw my leg over to the other side, now I'm very safe from his pressure. Neil, can you just crush me with your weight? Go ahead. I can relax here, guys. I have control of both sides of his body. This wouldn't be a good passing strategy for Neil, but just to demonstrate the importance of having control of both sides, okay? I can relax here. I'm not under any stress. I'm not fatigued. I'm not getting tired. The match can continue, and we're fighting for control, okay? Move back. As long as I have control of both sides, I'm totally safe. Can we start all over? Let's do it the other angle. Actually, yes, sorry. My partner starts to pass. As he's passing, look how I connect my right elbow and my right knee. My partner's closing the distance. I shrimp away. I'm making space. I'm gonna throw my leg over the top. I throw my leg up over the top, and I'm controlling both sides of his body. If my partner makes a quick move north-south, can you go north-south? It's also true that I have to control both sides of his body, okay? You can see now that I'm crossing my legs. We're gonna talk about that also very shortly, okay? It doesn't matter if my legs are this way or this way. I have to control both sides of his body. Whenever in doubt, find a way to get one leg on one side of his body and one leg on the other. Here, if he tries to put pressure on me, it won't help, okay? He won't be able to crush me here. It might seem like I'm in a tight situation, but I'm actually quite comfortable, and I can start to spin my way out of trouble, okay? You can see now I came back to the original position. I have one foot on one side, one foot on the other. He makes a quick move. I block with my knee and elbow. I connect my knee and elbow. I shrimp back. I attack the top of the head. I attack the shoulder, wherever I see fit. And I throw that leg up and over. And look, I regard. Again, see that again. Go to the side. I block. Guys, this is a classic move, but we have to make sure we train in our arsenal, okay? He I'm able to push him back. He tries the other side. I block, 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 block. I throw my leg up and over. And now I regard, okay? So one more time like this. One more set. Throw my legs to the side. I block, knee and elbow. I shrimp, 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 shrimp. Create space. Throw your leg, making sure that you're controlling both sides of his body. Here, you can recenter yourself. Okay, once I recenter myself, I'm very safe. He throws my legs to the other side. I block, 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 block. Knee and elbow together, and I throw my leg up and over. Okay, once your leg goes up and over, you can start attacking him or simply regard. Okay, guys, closing or controlling or making contact with both sides of his body is paramount when you're retaining guard. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, my partner has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee, and he starts to flank me here. We said we use the heel of the palm, we push the head to the same side of the hips. We're creating space, we're creating vulnerability here. We said we have 3 big pummeling maneuvers. 1, the foot block. 2, the lasso. And of course, if he blocks me from going over the top, I'm gonna pummel to the knee shield. Well, whenever he's fighting off my left leg, I can also, as I'm trying to pummel my left leg in, I can also always pummel in my right leg, just like so. See, if I pummel my right leg inside his bicep in a spider guard position, now he won't be able to pass. It's gonna be incredibly difficult. I'm gonna be able to stretch out my leg and get back to that position we talked about earlier. Okay, so my partner has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee. He's trying to pass. I'm trying to go to the big 3. Okay, the 3 most common pummeling attacks: over, or underneath with the knee shield. He's blocking me. Well, guess what? I can also pummel the bottom leg now. Okay, I'm going to use the bottom leg. Guys, if your partner's hips are close enough, you could also put your foot on his thigh and or hip, okay, depending on the distance. You can pummel inside his arm or inside his hip. The second your right foot makes contact with the arm or hip, you can now use that as a pivoting point to regard. Okay, let's see it again from another angle. My partner's passing. He has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee. He's trying to pass. I'm creating space. I'm trying to get my leg inside. The outside leg is fighting for control. Okay, he's blocking me. Well, I'm going to use the inside leg, my bottom leg now, to pummel for control. Okay, or I could also put my foot on his thigh or hip. Once my foot is on his thigh or hip, it's going to be very easy now for me to start pummeling my legs back in. Okay, pummeling your legs is super important. If you don't pummel your legs in successfully, you're going to be under a lot of pressure. You're going to have to use a lot of muscle. Okay, I don't want to have to rely on muscle. My partner's moving to the side here. I want to rely on technique. That way I can enjoy my jiu-jitsu practice without suffering. Okay, I'm trying to pummel in my left leg. He's blocking me. He's doing a good job. Well, guess what? I'm going to pummel in the bottom leg. Okay, once I pummel in the bottom leg, now I could start to maneuver and attack. Okay, these moves are super important. They're super fundamental. They must be addressed. They must be known. They must be drilled. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, I'm going to attack my opponent. Okay, I can't just keep defending. He's going to pass. I'm going to defend. He's going to pass. I'm going to defend. I got to put him on the defense. I got to attack him. I got to sweep him. I got to do something offensive. Okay, so my partner has one hand on the knee, one hand on the hip. I'm doing all the good things that we talked about. Guys, as we're pummeling and we're fighting here, I'm going to attack this arm. The arm that's on my hip, I'm going to attack it. Watch how I'm going to attack this arm, okay? I'm going to put the point of his elbow in the center of my palm, okay? So you can see, can you bend your elbow? See that point right there? I want to palm it. That's why we call it a shotgun grip, you know, because when you load a shotgun or you cock a shotgun, you, right? You grab that shotgun grip, okay? So that's why we call it the shotgun, armbar shotgun grip. His hand is on my hip. I find the point of his elbow and I put it in a shotgun grip right there. That's exactly how I want to hold it. My other hand is going to go thumb down and grab his wrist. Let's rotate a bit so everybody can see. See? And from here, I'm going to slide his arm up. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to slide his arm up, and I'm going to put it as high into my armpit as possible. I want to trap the wrist and hand area, okay? Where the hand meets the wrist, okay? Right here, okay? Where you would put your wristwatch, roughly, okay? I want to put that as high as possible under my armpit, the wristwatch. Imagine he was wearing a watch, and I'm slamming that part of his body right under my arm, okay? Now I have that shotgun grip. Right here, guys, my left foot is going to slide up his back. The sole of my foot is going to be on his back, and now my leg is going to come right behind my left hand. It's going to put pressure on my hand. You could see now my partner's arm is straightened out, and I'm putting pressure. My feet are on his body. I'm starting to bridge my hips up. You can see that my 2 knees are between his upper body and my upper body. Now I have a very nice grip on his arm. Guys, my partner here is in a lot of trouble. Here I could sub my partner if I do it real quick, okay? I could break his arm real quick. I can get him to tap, or usually it's going to turn to omoplata. We're going to see that shortly. Actually, let's do it from this angle. My partner's starting to attack. I'm doing all the good stuff we talked about. I'm pummeling. My feet are making contact with him. Now I feel that I have counter pressure. Look how I attack his arm. I attack his arm. Palm, the point of the elbow. I reach for a 2-on-1. It's going to be real quick, guys. I'm just going to go like this here. I'm going to attack him real quick. Okay, we're going to do it a bit slow so everybody can see. My partner's flanking. I go like so. Dylan, maybe just come at this angle here. Now look, I'm fighting. I already pummeled in my bottom leg. I already have everything kind of like in my good defense. I'm trying to pummel. He's fighting me back. Look at that arm. I'm going to attack that arm that's making contact with my body. Look how I reach. I reach with the second hand. Guys, as you do this over the years, you can eventually just do it with one hand. Okay? If you really drill this a lot, you could do it with one hand. But I'm going to teach you guys to do it with two hands. And as you get more experience, you can do it with one hand. Okay? So I grab my partner. I put his wrist under my armpit here. I lock that shotgun grip. And now I start to find any point with my feet to push on his body. I like to slide my foot on the back of his ribs here and start to put pressure with my hips by driving my feet up, my hips up in the air. Guys, whenever you do this armbar, your opponent's quickly going to want to rotate his arm. When he rotates his arm, it's going to give me omoplata. Okay? When I get into omoplata in this position, I like to get perpendicular. Okay, can you rotate here just a little bit? Look how I put my butterfly hook under his chin or under his arm. Okay, and you could see Neil now. He's like in a three-legged table. Okay, you see here, his arm is trapped. So this space here, I want to start scooting back and dropping him in the space. Okay, so he doesn't posture. He's unable to defend. Okay. So I have my legs in omoplata, stay perpendicular, and I maintain the perpendicular position. I start to scoot back. Now my partner's trapped, okay? You can see my head is higher than his. That's good news for me, bad news for him. His hips are higher than mine, okay? So I'm gonna start to shrimp now and get my hips higher than his. I'm gonna come up on my feet. I'm gonna bring my hips higher than his. Now you can see my head is above his head, higher than his head, I should say, and my hips are higher than his hips. This gives me the tactical superiority. Guys, from here, you're attacking omoplata. Okay, I'm not going to go over omoplata, of course. We've seen this before. We're going to be doing our guard retention, and now we're attacking from guard retention. My partner's flanking. I'm defending. I'm doing everything we saw earlier in the video, except now I'm going to reach for that shotgun armbar. I can do it one-handed if I have the experience. If I don't have the experience, use two hands. Okay, thumb down, thumb up. So I have a mixed grip here. Left hand is thumb up. Right hand is thumb down. I reach, I grab, I pinch, I put it under my arm. And now here, guys, there's a lot of things that can go on. I can go underneath and armbar him. Okay, there's a variety of armbars I can do. I can spin underneath him and break his arm. Okay, I've trapped that arm now. That arm is under a lot of pressure and a lot of danger. My partner's moving. I reach for that shotgun armbar, one-handed or two-handed, both are good. I start to come up like this. I start to try to break his arm. I could start to spin underneath him. Now I have one shin across his face and one leg underneath his ribs. Guys, can you do a traditional style armbar? Absolutely. You could also pummel your knee on the your shin bone on the inside. Both are good. In this position, sometimes it could be a little bit difficult to break his arm. Guys, I continue the spin. If you continue the spin, I guarantee you, this guy, he's not going to be able to defend. Okay, this is going to be a really bad position for him. Even if he rolls from here, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, armbars can be very messy. You have to stay with the guy as he twists and turns and rolls. You kind of keep the pressure on his arm. And here, I'm going to be breaking his arm. A lot of time, this style of armbar is going to lead to omoplata. Okay? So I'm here like this. He's trying to flank. I go right into my shotgun armbar. I'm going to use a two-handed version. My shotgun. Guys, when I go here and I start putting pressure, he's going to turn his wrist. Once he turns his wrist, I go right into omoplata. I tuck my right foot under his neck or under his far armpit. I start to slide my hips back. Look, I slide my hips back. I'm dropping him in that space where he has no base. Okay, his right arm is trapped, so he has no base on his right side. My head is higher than his. That's the time for me to start getting hip to hip. I start shrimping, and I start getting hip to hip. Both feet on the ground. I like to use my elbow to assist here. Okay, so my arm is draped over. I kind of put my elbow like so. Okay? I trap the hip, and I retract my elbow to kind of pick me up here. And now I put my arm long again. And now I'm in a really good position. I press the wrist towards the back of the neck and start to force him into a submission, or he's going to have to roll over and give me the sweep. Guys, this is a very powerful attack. As soon as they make contact with your body, break their arm. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, we're looking at the Choi bar. Okay, the Choi bar is one of the most powerful counters. Okay, my partner has his hand on my hip. He has his hand on my knee. He starts to circle. We're doing all the good stuff we were doing earlier. Okay, guys. Whenever I have my feet on my partner's body, now the choi bar is on the table. Okay, I cannot do it if my feet are up in the air. Can you rotate a little, spin it? Guys, if I try to choi bar from here, there's no counter pressure. For me to pull his arm in, I need to push. Okay, so the first thing you need for a choi bar is you need to have some foot on his body, and it doesn't matter where. Okay, it really doesn't matter almost anywhere. Okay, so I can have my foot on his shoulder like so, and then I could choi bar. I can have my foot on his hip, and I could choi bar. I can have my right foot on his hip. One foot is good enough. Okay, but you have to have some foot on his body. Okay, that's number one. My partner is he's starting to pass. Look, I found a connection on his knee here. Okay. If I have a pushing force, I can have a pulling force, okay? But there's no pulling force without a pushing force because now you're just pulling the guy into a pass. Okay, it's very important that I have my foot pushing and my arms pulling. Okay, see it again? Let's go a little bit at this angle. My partner starts to pass. I start to find a place for my feet. Once I find a place for my feet, my right foot's making contact, and I see a bend in the arm. Can you bend the arm a little bit? Guys, whenever somebody's putting their hand on my knee and there's a bend in the arm, you could take his arm in a choi bar. Can you straighten your arm a bit? Even if it's straight, you can do it, okay? It's just a little bit harder. Okay, I want you guys to start with the easy version. Ask your partner to bend his arm. When he bends his arm, it just makes it a little bit easier for me to grab, okay? So I'm underhooking the back of his tricep as close to the elbow as I can, okay? I don't want to go up here. It's a little bit weaker for me, okay? I'm going to go close to the elbow as best as possible. I'm pulling with my right hand, and I'm pushing with the back of my right arm on the wristwatch area, okay? Imagine Neil is wearing a wristwatch right here. I want to put pressure on that wrist. Okay, so I'm grabbing just above the elbow behind the tricep. I'm pulling, this hand is pulling towards my chest, and I'm pushing with the right side of my arm. I'm pushing his arm away. Guys, I want to pull this elbow into my chest. If I pull this elbow into my chest, Neil now is going to find a lot of problems. Okay, his arm is bent. I'm pushing with my tricep. I'm pulling with my hands. If Neil tries to posture, Neil. Posture as hard as you can. Okay, you can see I'm pushing with my foot and I'm pulling with my arms. Now all I got to do is I got to swim my foot into the armpit. Okay, we call it the deodorant zone. I want to take the back of my Achilles here, or even the back of my calf, and dig it in to the back of his armpit. Okay, that deodorant zone where you would put your deodorant on. Now that I have that pressure, I start to put pressure down on his shoulder. See, I'm putting pressure down on his shoulder, and I'm grabbing the wrist. Once I grab the wrist, you can see Neil's flaring his thumb, so you guys can see. I want his thumb pointing towards his hips. This is crucial, very important, okay? If his thumb is pointing this direction or in this direction, no good, no good. You won't have any pressure, okay? The pressure is gonna be minimized. I wanna force his arm into a rotation and point his thumb towards his hips. Guys, from here I can start to extend, okay? I start to extend, I extend my hips. You can see I'm pinching my knees. Here I can break his arm, okay? From here I'm breaking his arm, I'm tapping him out. Sometimes you might feel like you need to sweep the guy because to get to a tight armbar, you need to sweep him. I'm going to flare my knee open. See, I'm going to squeeze. I'm going to break his arm. I'm putting pressure like I'm breaking his arm, but I also flare my knee. When he rolls, I keep pointing the thumb towards his hips. See how that thumb is always pointing towards the hips? My two knees are tight, and I'm trapping my partner's arm into an armbar. Okay, guys, when you finish the armbar, let's rotate. I'm going to break down all these details again. Don't worry. I know I'm just giving you a quick overview. Whenever you do this armbar, you can have both your feet behind his head like so. Okay, so you're basically closing a triangle, then crossing your feet. And I have them behind his head. That's great. I can have one leg over the top, or I could switch my legs around. Okay. Sometimes when I'm like this and I'm breaking the guy's arm, he takes my foot off his head. Okay. He's trying to escape. When he does that, try to lift my legs. He's trying to relieve pressure. I'll quickly just switch my legs around. Okay. Now he tries to take my right leg off. I'll just quickly switch my legs around again. Okay. And eventually I could also try to hide my feet behind his neck like so. Okay. He could even try to take my legs out from here. Now take them out. Look, as he's fighting my legs, look, I just put one back underneath, and I just keep kind of pummeling my legs until I find a configuration that he can't stop, and it gives me time to break his arm. Okay? So there's really no wrong way to configure your legs there at the end. The real important thing, guys, is getting that counter pressure. As Neil's passing the guard, I got to get one of my feet on his body. See, I have my foot on his thigh here. That's good enough for me to start going into that choi bar. Okay, and of course, I'm going to adjust my foot as we're fighting. I'm pushing with the foot. I'm pulling with the arms. I'm bending my arm in my partner's arm in a type of kimura. I'm pulling that elbow into my chest. And now you can see Neil, if he tried his best to posture here, he wouldn't be able to. Can you posture? Posture as best you can. He can't. There's nowhere for him to go. He can't come forward because I have my foot blocking his hip, and he can't go backwards because I have his arm bent. Now I'm going to swim my leg right into that deodorant zone. Okay? I'm going to throw my foot shallow. Okay? Sometimes you'll see black belts go deep. I'm not against going deep. I think it's okay going deep like so. It's not the best. Okay, in my opinion, the best is staying really shallow and stay in that deodorant zone and put pressure in that deodorant zone. Okay, I have a better control of his shoulder. I grab the wrist, I point that thumb towards his hips. Okay, and now I put my legs wherever they're comfortable. I pinch my two knees together. I start to break his arm right here. If I want to sweep, if I want to encourage him to sweep, I'm just opening that knee just a little bit. My partner's going to roll. Now it's easier to finish the armbar here. I could put more pressure. I'm pointing his thumb. I'm pointing his thumb towards his hips, and I'm breaking his arm across my right hip here. Okay, I always want to put it on one hip. I'm never putting it in the middle. Okay, I'm putting it across my right hip, and now I have a lot of mobility to finish this armbar. Okay, let's see it again. My partner has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee. He's circling. He's fighting hard. I'm creating distance. I'm trying to pummel my legs in. As soon as one of my legs makes contact, even if it's the outside leg, look, I can now grab that choi bar. Okay, can you put pressure? Look, my right foot is not there yet. I can still grab it. Okay, because I'm pushing with my left. As soon as I take this hand off my knee, I can pummel the other leg in. Now I have 2 feet pushing and 2 arms pulling. This is really good for me, really bad for my opponent. I'm pulling his elbow into my chest, and I pummel my foot in that deodorant zone. I start to trap his wrist and point it towards the hips. And now I start to crank, crank, crank. My partner's going to want to roll. I close my triangle and cross my feet. Okay? I close my triangle, hook the back of his neck, and cross my 2 feet. Now I start to drive, and break my partner's arm. Let's do it once, Neil, with your back to the camera. Hand on the hip, hand on the knee. He's passing, he's passing. Look at that arm. It's there for the taking. I have my right foot on his thigh. Now I could push with my right foot and pull with my right arm. Okay? Like this. It's going to be quick. Okay? Let's rotate. Okay? I'm going to show you guys a better angle. My partner is here. He's making a quick move. He's making a quick move. As soon as my foot touches his body, I start to underhook. See? A good way to drill this is just grabbing the arm. Okay? Go ahead, start passing. I have my feet on him. I can start to snatch that elbow. Get used to snatching that elbow. Once you get that kind of tension, the rest comes really easy. Okay? The rest is kind of easy. It's really about snatching that elbow that's pressuring your knee. Okay? I'm here like so. He has one hand on my hip, one hand on my knee. There you go. Look how I'm putting pressure on the wrist, forearm area. Can you come forward here? Come forward like you're pressure passing, pressure passing. Look how I put pressure with my arm here. I'm pushing in this direction. Okay? Now I have a nice grip. Guys, this is a beautiful maneuver. Okay? If my partner's trying to pressure pass me, and look, I'm attacking this arm, and he's defending it, he's peeling it back, and I'm attacking the other arm. As he defends his arms, he starts pulling his arms away. It's going to allow me now to start attacking his legs. Okay, it's creating a dilemma for him. As I'm attacking his arms and he's defending them, it's going to allow me to spin into the legs. Of course, it's helping me retain guard because he's defending. See, I'm here. I'm attacking his arm. He's defending. I go to the other arm. Pass again. I attack this arm, defend this arm. I attack the other. He takes his arm out. We're combining our attacks, of course. Guys, a choi bar is one of my favorite attacks. Somebody's trying to pass you aggressively. It's a beautiful maneuver. It's a beautiful counter. It's a very advanced attack. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, my partner is passing my guard. He has one hand on the hip, one hand on the knee. I'm starting to defend. And now look, I'm trying to pummel this leg. I'm trying to choi bar. I'm trying to attack this arm. Things are really tight. And he crosses past the center line. Can you crossing? Guys, imagine you were cutting me in half here, okay? You were just cutting me in half where the navel is, right where my navel is, and I'm cutting in half. That's the south side of the border. And of course, above the line is the north side of the border. When my partner crosses to the north side of the border, I'm in a lot of trouble here. Can you cross to the north side? Guys, freeze. He's on the north side of the border right now. For me to push him back to the south, it's going to be very difficult. For me to choi bar here, it's going to be very difficult. For me to arm bar from here, for me to do anything, really, it's going to be difficult. So here I have to switch. Guys, I'm going to grab his body any which way I feel comfortable. And look how I pass my head from one side of his body to the other. Now my head is on his left side. Look how I'm going to switch my head to his right side. And now I've restarted the cycle. Okay, my partner's gonna have to re-go into another passing cycle. Okay, so he's trying to pass the guard. I have him on the south side. I'm doing everything we learned, pushing him back in, choi bars, arm bars, repummeling, but he's going towards the north-south position. As he crosses that line, look how I grab his elbows any which way I feel comfortable, and I switch my legs to the other side. Okay, it's gonna happen quite quickly as we're fighting. My partner's gonna try to pass. Look, he's passing. I'm trying to push him back down. I'm not able to. I spin to the other side. Okay, I just switch to the other side, and now I start the cycle all over again. Can you pass to your left? Put pressure, put pressure. Look, he's past the center line. That's when I start thinking about doing this kind of stuff, okay? Can you go just below the center line? If he's below the center line, I wouldn't spin, okay? Because if I spin here, he's gonna intercept me, okay? He's in my way, See, he's gonna intercept me. He's gonna block me. Guys, it's really once they're past the center line, okay? Start going, yes, look, he's past the center line, freeze. Now look, there's a huge empty space on this side. There's a huge empty space in this area. I'm gonna put my hands on his body any which way I feel comfortable, and I'm gonna spin my body in that side. Now I'm back to the original position we were in. I've restarted the cycle. Can you pass it this direction? Look, he's passing. He's above the center line. He's past the center line. Look how I put my hands any which way I feel comfortable. I keep my knees tight into my chest. Okay, I don't want to extend my legs. That would be really bad. Okay, because obviously he can don't move your chest. He can intercept the center, but also it makes it very hard for me to move around. Too much of my body's touching the ground. Okay, the less your body's touching the ground, the more you're gonna spin. Okay, so I have my body pivoting on one little point. Okay, so as Neil's trying to pass, look how I spin, like so. I spin and I stop my partner from passing. He starts to pass again. He's past that center line, he's past the border. Once he's past the border, I put my hands any which way I feel comfortable. On his shin, on his ankle, on his elbows, on his wrist. And now look, I pivot to the other side. And now, of course, everything remains true. I'm controlling two sides of his body. I have my knees in my chest. I can defend myself adequately from here. Okay? My partner is putting a lot of pressure. I'm trying to keep him behind my knees. I'm trying to keep him behind my legs, but he's starting to pass. Guys, you have to have some foot contact somewhere, okay? You can't do this without your feet involved, but he's pressuring past my feet. Look how I spin to the other side, and I relieve pressure completely. Okay, let's see it again. My partner's starting to pass. I have some kind of foot contact. I can't do this without any foot contact, guys. If my partner's passing and I try to do it now, look, there's no foot contact on him. I have no contact with my feet. If I try to spin here, guys, I'm gonna get crushed. I'm gonna get crushed, okay? My partner starts to pass. I have one foot on his hip. He's trying to pressure pass. He's trying to beat my foot. Look, he's stepping over my foot. He's a really aggressive passer. Look, he's passing past the border here. Now he's gonna take this foot off. Go ahead, see? Now look, I put my hands on his leg. You can see I have a bit of contact here on the heel, and I start to spin through. Guys, spinning is so important, so paramount. It must be drilled, okay? I'm here like so, he's starting to pass. I have to have some contact on his lower body. He might pummel his leg free. He pummels his leg free. He's closing the distance. He's past the center point. I'm trying to high leg over. I'm trying to throw my leg over. I'm trying to control both sides of his body. He's ducking his head under. Duck your head under. Look, that's when I pivot. See? He's defending everything I'm doing, and he's crossing the border. As he's crossing the border, I spin to the other side. Okay? Let's see you here. We're doing everything we've learned already in the video. He's passing, he's passing. Look, I have a little bit of foot contact. He takes it off by pummeling. I have some foot contact here. He's taking it off by pummeling. Pummel your head inside. Boom. Look, he's beating me here. See, he's beating me. He's making it very difficult. I'm trying to keep up with him. It's very, very difficult. Hit the reset button. Just spin to the other side. Okay? Spin to the other side. When you have this switcheroo type technique in your game plan, he has to walk a fine line. If he passes too aggressively, you switch. You reset the position. Okay? If he doesn't pass aggressively enough, you're going to be able to pummel your legs in. Okay? So I'm creating a dilemma for my partner. If he's not pursuing me hard enough, I'm going to get those legs in the way. If he's beating those legs, I'm going to spin to the other side. If he's being very aggressive, I'm going to spin to the other side. Okay? So he would have to pass my guard. He's going to have to walk a perfectly fine line between pressuring me and not over pressuring me so I don't switch on him. Okay? Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, we're dealing with north-south. Okay, I've seen so many good black belts get passed with north-south pressure. Okay, what's north-south pressure? Well, here, my partner's on the south side of the border. If he walks to the north-south, now he's in a what we call a north-south position. Okay, here you can see that
I have now only my hands to defend myself. My legs are not really in the equation. If Neil puts his hands on my knees here, he could really fatigue me because my legs are not very powerful in this orientation. And then once he fatigues me, he's going to close the distance. And I've seen a lot of good black belts get past like this. It's incredible. It's quite astonishing. I'm going to show you guys an easy trick to avoid all this pressure. Okay. Of course, we want to keep our legs between us and our opponent. Okay, that's why we call it the guard. Whenever my legs are between my upper body and his upper body, I'm well guarded. Okay, if my legs are no longer between his upper body and my upper body, now I have no more guard. Okay, that's why we call it the guard. You can't protect yourself very easily here. Guys, when my partner makes his way north-south, make your way north-south, I point the sole of my foot towards his chest like we talked about earlier, and now you can see my legs are crossed. Whenever somebody goes north-south on you, the easy fix is to cross your legs, okay? Most people, what they do is they keep their right leg on the right side, left leg on the left side, and then they fight from here. Well, what's gonna happen here, as soon as Neil makes contact, he's got the advantage, okay? Because he can reach my legs quite easily, and his legs are a little bit harder for me to reach. Okay? Now I have to use my hands to attack his arms. It can be quite difficult, okay? This is not a good orientation for me. My legs are not crossed, I'm in a lot of trouble. The second my legs are crossed and Neil makes contact with my legs, I can easily just uncross my legs. Watch what happens when I uncross my legs. Now, I'm back into a standard position, which is way easier for me now to defend, okay? Because my legs are much more powerful in this orientation, okay? So the common mistake people make is when your opponents go north-south, they bring their legs in, but they don't cross their legs, okay? They try to fight like they normally would when the person's on the other side of the border, okay? This is not a good position for me, okay? I have to cross my legs. Now I'm in a very good position. When Neil makes contact, any contact whatsoever, all I have to do is unravel my legs. And now him spinning around to the north-south position was a waste of time, okay? Every time somebody spins to north-south, try to maintain the angle. Can you do that slowly? Go back. Let's do that slowly, okay? Try to keep the sole of your foot pointing towards the chest, okay? My partner goes towards north-south. I'm pointing. As he passes north-south, look, my legs are crossed. I keep them crossed. Okay, let's rotate so everybody can see. Rotate. My legs are crossed. A lot of people uncross their legs and start fighting from here. That's a huge mistake. Keep your legs crossed, okay? Try to make contact with your legs crossed. Try to attack your partner's legs with your legs crossed. If he makes contact, so while my legs are crossed, I'm just gonna unravel. Okay, we're gonna do that again slowly. Let's do it this way so we end up north-south in the other direction. My partner's passing. I aim the sole of my foot, like you guys learned earlier, towards the chest. As we're fighting, my legs are crossed. If he makes contact, all I gotta do, any contact he makes whatsoever, all I gotta do is unravel my legs. Okay, you're gonna see, I unravel my legs, and that's gonna bring me back to a standard position. Guys, later in the video, we're gonna see how to defend against north-south passes when he gets deeper in, okay? This is a preliminary defense. I don't even want the guy to get to north-south, okay? The earlier you defend, the easier and the better and the more successful you're gonna be, okay? So this is an early defense. We're gonna look at later defenses later in the video. But this, crossing your ankles, is a gem, guys. Let's make it that. Let's work it in. Okay, guys, next up is the hook and spin. My partner is passing my guard, and he's having a hard time getting to side control. He's electing to go to north-south. Whenever somebody goes north-south, guys, we said we want to keep our knees in our chest. We want to cross our feet, right? If he makes contact with our legs, we can quickly unravel, okay? If he makes contact with our legs and our legs are crossed, we can quickly unravel. Guys, sometimes it's so chaotic and there's so much pressure, we want to be a little bit more aggressive, okay? One very good counter to north-south is to hook and spin. I hook the back of my Achilles in his armpit area, okay, in his deodorant zone, and I spin from there, okay? It's just a little bit more aggressive, and it puts me back in the same position I was in. Okay, can you go north-south? Go north-south. Go again. Look, as they're going north-south, I cross my legs, and now look, there's no wrong side. Guys, I could take my right leg and cross to this side, or I can cross to this side, okay? Of course, going across his body is always better, okay? But if I cross to this side, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It would just be a little bit more risky, but it gives me a good pivoting point, okay? So I want to make contact with the deodorant zone, the underarm, and spin. My partner goes north-south. It's always preferable to cross. It's always preferable to cross and then spin, okay? My partner goes north-south. He goes north-south. I make contact with my left leg. So I crossed over, and now I'm going to spin. Guys, I could also have used my right leg and spin the other way, okay? I want my partner to go north-south. I'm fighting it with him. Look, I reach for that arm. So I reach, I hook, and I spin. Can you go north-south? As he's going north-south, I hook, and I spin. It's not the end of the world if you don't cross. See here, I'm not crossing my leg.
It's not as strong, but it's still doable, okay? Because you need a pivoting point. And sometimes when things are chaotic, one leg is not available, he's controlling it, use the other, okay? So my partner is going towards my north-south position. I'm gonna find a hook, and I'm gonna spin, okay? The hook and spin is real simple. My partner goes north-south. As he's making a north-south transition, look how I hook under the arm, and I spin, and I keep my partner out in front of me, okay? I don't want my partner north-south. It could be a very fatiguing position for the man on the bottom. He's going north-south, he's going north-south. I'm fighting. I see the hook, there it is. There's my hook. I pummel my leg inside, I hook, and I spin. Guys, the hook and spin, when somebody's trying to go north-south, super important. It's gonna save you a lot of time and energy. Okay, guys, next up, we're going to be talking about a very important concept, intercepting the arm, okay? Whenever somebody's passing my guard and I'm putting my knee and elbow together and I'm pummeling my feet like we always do, but now he's thinking about going north-south. For him to go north-south, he needs to take this arm and he needs to pass my center line, okay? The center line is that imaginary line that goes right down your body, okay? It goes down between your two eyes, between your two pecs, all the way between your two legs, okay? So I'm here like so. Whenever this arm passes that center line, I have to control that arm. Okay, so whenever he's going north-south, he cannot go north-south without crossing over. Okay, so watch here. He's side control. He's working to side control. He's trying to get to his knees here. I'm not allowing him. He's gonna pass that arm. Whenever he passes that arm, I have to intercept it. And so that arm, as soon as it goes over my head, I have to intercept it with a frame. Okay, if you don't frame under that arm and you don't expose the space under his arm like so, you're gonna get very likely passed. Okay, so watch here. I'm here like so. Neil passes his arm over. I didn't intercept it. He starts to close the distance, go north-south a little more. And now look, he's closing the distance on me. He's pressuring my legs out of my chest. Close the distance, close the distance. And now look, he's beating me. That arm went uncontrolled and he was able to pass my guard. Okay, let's do it again. Guys, watch here. My partner's passing. He's passing. He's in a side control territory. He starts to go north-south. I fail to intercept that arm. I fail. I keep trying to push him back inside my guard. And now look, he's passed that arm, and now he's gonna apply pressure, and now the whole thing is gonna collapse. Okay, the whole guard is gonna collapse. Let's go back again. Whenever that arm crosses over the center line, you have to intercept it with a frame. You must. You forget everything else you're doing and intercept that arm. Let's go again. My partner's going side control. I'm blocking him with a knee and elbow shield here. He starts to pass that arm. As soon as he passes that arm, look how I intercept it. Can you get a little closer? If he's closer, I'm gonna use my forearm like so. Whenever I intercept it with my forearm, I'm gonna pummel my knee inside. Okay, so I pummel my knee inside his chest. Now when he tries to close the distance, I have my knee between me and him. Okay, it's gonna create a wedge. It's gonna be really easy now if I have one knee in to frame on the other arm and pummel the other knee inside. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a better look in a second. Okay, so rotate here just a little bit. My partner is passing to side control. I'm blocking him. As soon as he starts going north-south and his arm crosses that line, I have to frame inside that line. Can you get a little closer? Get down to one knee here. Take this leg back. Take this leg back. Look, I'm going to intercept that arm and I'm going to bring my knee between me and him. See how I pass my knee between me and him? Now that I have one knee between me and him, it's going to be really easy to do the same thing on the other side. Can you put all your weight on me, Neil? Put all your weight. It's really a comfortable position for me. Put all your weight. Try to crush my knee. There's nowhere for my knee to go. It's wedged between his body and mine. From here, I'm just going to pummel my knee inside and get two knee shields. Once you have that two knee shields in, you're gonna hook and spin like we did earlier. I'm gonna pass my foot under his arm, and now I'm gonna spin. Okay, I can go to K-guard, I can climb my way to K-guard, or I can spin to safety. Okay, so I'm here like so. My partner's passing. Try to get a little closer here. Yes. That arm is gonna make a move sooner or later. Let's rotate a bit here. I know that this arm, if it goes past my center line, I have to intercept it. Go ahead. I intercept it. I slide my knee inside. Now that my knee's inside, I'm nice and safe. I do the same thing on the other side. I use one knee, stay tighter. I use one knee to create elevation and pummel my leg inside. Now that I pummel my leg inside, I can pummel my leg or my knee, okay? I pummel my leg or my knee. Once I pummel my leg inside, I have that hook and spin or K-guard. Okay, I'm gonna start attacking K-guard. Let's do it again. Let's do it this way. My partner's passing. He's going north-south. Watch what happens when he goes north-south. He passes this arm across my body. I intercept it. I pummel my knee inside. I get my knee on the inside of that arm. Now I have a knee shield. I'm nice and safe. Don't move, don't move. Look how I use my other side, okay, to pummel my leg. And we said we're going to try to control both sides of his body. Now that's the case. I have one leg on one side, one leg on the other. My legs are crossed, so that means it becomes really easy for me to unravel and start centering my partner up again. Okay, let's go again. Let's do it from this angle. Okay. My partner's passing. He's passing. I need to intercept that arm. Okay. I need to control that arm.
I know that if he passes that arm over my head and I don't frame on the inside of it, if I don't get on the inside, I'm in a lot of trouble. Okay? If I keep my arm here, let's say, and he passes his arm over, I'm going to find myself in a lot of trouble, guys. If he starts putting weight here on me, it's going to be very difficult to regard. Okay? The highest point of leverage is controlling that arm. He passes that arm over. Look how I follow it. Look how I frame into it. Okay, frame any which way you feel comfortable. Use your forearm, use your hand, all is good. Once I frame this arm, it's quite easy for me to keep distance between me and him. I'm gonna pummel my knee inside. Once I pummel my knee inside, now it's time to find the other side, okay? I pummel the other side free. I use one knee to free the other, okay? Once I get my knee inside, I can pummel my hook, and from there, we're climbing our way to K-guard, or we could spin, okay? Let's do it again. My partner's putting a little pressure, get a little closer. Look, he's trying to pass that arm. As he passes that arm, look how I frame. And now, look, I pummel my foot or my knee, okay? Sometimes you're gonna get your knee inside, sometimes you're gonna get your foot. Guys, we said we always have to control both sides of his body. That's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm using one knee to pummel my leg in. Okay? I'm using my knee to pummel my leg in. Let's do it again. Try to get a little closer so it's more realistic. My partner's passing. I'm trying to push him down, back inside my guard, and he passes that arm over. When he passes that arm over, I intercept it. I have to catch that arm. I pummel my knee inside. I pummel my knee inside. Once I pummel my knee inside, you see I already inserted my hook. Okay? If my hook wasn't inserted, I use one knee to pass the other leg. From here, it becomes really easy to start defending yourself and getting him back in your guard or taking K-guard. Guys, whenever that arm passes, you have to intercept it. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, now we're going to be doing a sweeping Granby. Okay, this is a very powerful guard retention maneuver, but it's a bit advanced. That's why it's later in the video. It takes a lot of Granby rolling experience. Okay, so my partner is going to throw my legs to the side. When he throws my legs to the side and I've been beat and he's closing the distance, look how I frame on his upper body. Okay, can you rotate just a touch? Rotate just a touch. Rotate, rotate. Look how I frame on his upper body. If he's closer to me, I might use my forearm. If he's a bit further away, I'm going to use the heel of my palm. Okay, guys, my partner is closing the distance on me. I try to shrimp in the same direction he's trying to close the distance on me. You'll notice that I start to elevate my head and prop on my elbow. Okay, so my head is coming up, and that's going to help me load the Granby roll. Okay, so I don't want to be down here. It's very hard for me to Granby roll from here. Okay, so I start to come up. I create space. As he's closing the distance, look how my left leg is going to sweep across the mat and swing to the other side of his body. You could see that both my feet are on one side of his body. We said we always have to control both sides of his body. But now my left leg is not on the far side of his body. Okay, so I'm going to sweep that leg around. It's going to sweep across the mat. It's going to go over my head. And now you can see that I have one leg on one side, one leg on the other. Okay, let's move back here. We're going to do it again. My partner does a quick Toriando. When he does a quick Toriando, he beat my legs. He beat my frames. He beat all the other stuff we've been doing earlier. Okay. Now it's time for me to start looking for a sweeping Granby. As he closes the distance, I start to move myself away. See, I start to elevate myself on my elbow, and now my leg is loaded. My Granby roll is loaded. Look how I'm going to bring my left leg to the other side of his body. I'm going to sweep it over my head. I'm going to roll on my shoulders, and now I'm going to bring my knees tight to my body and point my foot back to his upper chest, like we talked about earlier, and start looking for connections. Okay, let's do it from an angle here. My partner's throwing my legs to the side. He beat me. Look, I find myself in trouble. Look, I start to shrimp, make space. My leg is loaded. My upper body is loaded for a Granby roll. Okay, I can't do it from here because if I sweep here, it's going to be too slow, too weak. Okay? Once my upper body is off the ground, it's going to give me a whipping action. I sweep my leg around. I roll up on my shoulders. And now here it is. I start to bring my knees tight into my chest, and I start to control both sides of his body again. Okay? Let's do it on this side. You're throwing my legs in the same direction. My partner beat me. See? He's closing the distance. Look how I control his upper body any which way I feel comfortable. I'm going to shrimp, and I'm going to roll upside down and get back into my guard. Okay? Let's do it again. My partner throws my legs to the side. He's beating me. Look how I'm shrimping. I'm trying to get out here. I'm underneath him. I'm trying to elevate my upper body. Okay? If I can, it's going to give me more speed. Guys, if you're more experienced, you can do it without loading up the Granby. It's doable from here. It's just not as safe. Okay, so I could do a sweeping Granby right here and get out of trouble. Okay, I prefer to get my upper body off the ground because we're going to see some hip heisting action later, and it kind of confuses my opponent. Okay, my partner throws my legs to the side. I block his body. He's beating my legs, and I sweep that leg over the top, and I pummel my legs right back in. Okay, one common mistake when you do this: sweep my legs, For my legs. Look, people sweep the Granby and then they open their legs too wide. Okay? When you open your legs too wide, he's just going to do a follow-up pass, maybe a knee slide or whatnot, and now he's going to intercept my legs, and now my knees are not between me and him no more, and I find myself in trouble. Okay? Throw my legs again, please. I sweep my legs in a big circle. I sweep them in a big circle. I load on my elbow if possible, because it's going to give me an even greater whip. I sweep. And then once I'm upside down, I bring my legs back in nice and tight. Now when he tries to pass or whatever, he's going to get tangled up in my legs. Okay? So I prefer to keep my knees bunched up and my feet and my knees between me and him. Guys, the sweeping Granby, super powerful stuff. It must be in the arsenal. It will save you many times when you get in trouble. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up, my partner's throwing my legs to the side. He's initially beating my legs. My legs are on one side of his body. Both my legs are on one side of his body. That's no good. But you'll notice this time he's a little closer to me. Okay, so I start doing my sweeping Granby. Here I can do the sweeping Granby again, but it's a little bit tighter. You can see he's closed the distance on me. It's not that easy to bring my legs back in. Okay, so let's do that again. When my partner is really close to me and he throws my legs to the side, and look, here I'm thinking about hip heisting. Because my head is higher than his head, I'm going to flip from my right hip to my left hip. Okay, I'm going to jump in the air here and flip my hips around. Once I flip my hips around, I can start to snap my partner down and start taking his back. Okay? This is a maneuver I really, really like. It's super powerful, especially when you have a heavy type smash passer who wants to get close to you and grab your hips. He throws my legs to the side. He starts closing the distance. Look, his head is lower. See, he's trying to wrap my body around. Okay? I start coming up, and he's closing the distance on me. Don't move. Guys, frame on him any which way you feel comfortable. Okay? Now from here, you can see I'm on my right hip. I'm loading my legs. Look how my legs are stretched out. That's no good. Okay? I bring my legs tight to my body. See? My knees tight to my body. Now my legs are spring loaded. Can you keep your arm around? Now look, I'm going to jump off my right hip to my left hip. Once I flip my hips around, now I start to build, and I start to cover his head into a front headlock. Let's do it on this side, please. My partner throws my legs. He does a quick action. He starts to escape. Sorry, he starts to close the distance. I start to work in my frames here. Okay, I'm thinking about Granby rolling. Granby rolling is not a bad idea, guys. I can Granby roll out of this. I can Granby roll out of this. I can do a sweeping Granby roll and maybe end up in K-guard. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, it's good stuff. Okay, but sometimes you feel that the hip heist is going to be better. I'm blocking him. I switch my hips and I start to attack the head. Guys, do not underestimate the value of learning a hip heist. Okay, it makes you unpredictable. It makes it difficult for your partner to surprise you because you have a hip heisting ability. It's tricky for him to now try to close the distance and grab your body. He throws your legs to the side. You start coming up. A quick hip heist. Hip heist. Start coming up to the front headlock. Start taking the back. Secure the back position. And now you're in business. Guys, this is a very powerful move. Gi, no gi. It's very good stuff. MMA, very important stuff. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up we're doing leg drag. One of the most popular passings you're going to see. Okay, my partner grabs my foot and he drags it across his body. Guys, when he drags it across his body, look how I'm going to bring my foot, my knee. I'm going to circle my knee tight into my chest and I'm going to put my foot right in his chest. Okay, now I'm going to be able to use my left leg to free my right leg. Okay, so when I push him away, I'm going to free my right leg. But now he's going to grab my left leg. He's going to repeat the same process. Look, it's very common. Okay, so he's going to just leg drag the other leg. I bring my knee tight into my body. We're going to put the sole of our foot on his upper body any which way we feel comfortable. And I'm going to push him away. When I push him away, it's not uncommon that the guy's going to re-drag this leg. Okay, every time I defend one leg, he takes the other. So we're going to do a little drill here. He's going to drag my other leg. It's a very classic drill. Okay, we're going to have to end this cycle. I can't keep doing this cycle because he's going to close the distance on me eventually. He pulls my leg out. I switch and I defend the other leg. Okay, let's do it again. My partner's going into leg drag. As he drags my leg, before I can do anything to defend my legs, he's already starting to secure my knee. I'm going to shrimp. I'm going to create space to pummel my foot inside, okay? Once I pummel my foot inside, now I can push him away, okay? Once I push him away, he's going to drag this leg, guys. A good leg dragger is going to go from one drag to the other. See, when he drags my leg, I repeat the cycle again. I switch side, and I block that cycle, okay? As my partner re-drags me again, I'm going to have to invert completely, okay? So my partner is dragging me again. I do the same thing. I block. As he's dragging me again, you can see me, I'm going to go upside down. Once I go upside down, now you can see I can grab his legs. Once I grab his legs, I'm going to start to attack my partner. Can you just release a second? You can see my legs are crossed. Why are they crossed? In case something goes wrong, I can unravel. If he's holding my legs, it's not a big deal. Okay? I'm going to shoot my hook between his legs, and my other leg's going to go behind his knee. And now I have myself in a canny basami, okay, flying scissor. From here, I'm controlling his legs. I bridge and sweep my partner down. Okay? Let's do it again. When somebody goes to leg drag, you defend using your free leg. Okay, he's attacking my right leg. I use my left leg to create space. Okay, I frame with my arms. I use my leg on his body, and I push him away. When I push him away, he's gonna attack that leg. When that happens, guys, I'm gonna stop this cycle. When he leg drags, look how I turn upside down. Okay, instead of continuing to defend my legs, I get upside down. I invert. That's gonna stop the cycle. Let's do it again. Let's do leg drag to leg drag. Go ahead. Leg drags me. I shrimp. Leg drag me again. I shrimp. Leg drag me again. See, I gotta end the cycle. Okay, leg drag me one more time. Look, I get upside down. When I get upside down, now I grab his ankles. From here, I'm crossing my legs. I shoot my Kenny Basami. One leg goes between his legs, one leg goes behind his knee. So you have my right leg between his legs, and my left leg is gonna go behind his knee. When I go here, you can see I'm controlling his leg. I have control of his far leg as well. Okay? I pull on both the legs, and I push with my, I pull on the leg and I push with my legs. Okay? So I pull and push. I'm pulling with my hands and pushing with my legs. My partner's doing a leg drag. I defend. He leg drags again. I defend. This time I go upside down. Once I go upside down, I throw that Kani Basami on. Okay? This is not a Kani Basami video, but you got to get upside down. You got to invert, and now you stop this leg drag. The leg drag is one of the most commonly used passes. Okay, so this is a very strong and reliable defense. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, we're going to do a simpler defense to leg drag. A real simple leg drag defense. Whenever somebody leg drags you, I want you guys to create a little bit of space and pummel your foot behind his knee. Okay. Now it's going to make it difficult for Neil to close the distance. Can you close the distance here? Look, when he tries to close the distance, I'm always able to elevate his leg and kind of spin and go into my Ashley grabbies, all my leg entanglements. Okay. I would recommend you pass this leg over the top and start attacking. Okay. Let's do that again. My partner's here. He does a leg drag. He's starting to get in tight. Look how I pummel my knee inside. Okay. Let's go again. He leg drags me. I pummel my knee inside. Let me see that here. Rotate. My partner leg drags. I do a simple pummel. Try to pass side control. See, it's very difficult because my leg's inside. Okay. From here, I start to shrimp, create space, and block him from closing the distance. Can you close the distance here? Look, if he tries to close the distance, I'm going to be underneath his leg. I'm going to be fishing here for my hooks, my X guards, all the good stuff that I like to do, all the ashigurami attacks. Okay. Let's see that again, please. My partner does a leg drag. As he leg drags me, I hook his leg. When I hook his leg, I grab his ankle. Now, can you close the distance, Neil? Look, if he tries to close the distance, I can create elevation. I can create space. And I like to pass this leg over the top. Okay, I like to pass this leg over the top and start exposing their back and attacking. Okay, so let's do it again from this angle. My partner is leg dragging. As he leg drags, I hook his leg. Now remember, we said we have to control both sides of his body. I have control with my right foot on one side of his body, and I have control with my hands on the other side. Okay. As Neil tries to close the distance, I send him up over the top. See, I send him up over the top, and now I start to spin. Because his hips are above my hips, I can start to spin. From here, there's so many possibilities. Push him away gently, pummel his leg over the top, and expose his back. Guys, this maneuver is really about pummeling your hook. It's a very simple maneuver. He leg drags me. As he leg drags me, look, I hooked his leg. I reach for that leg. I control that leg. I'm blocking both sides of his body, and then I'm trying to send him up and over to the top. From here, I'm spinning underneath, and I'm creating an attack on his lower limbs. Okay. From here, you can X guard, you can pass his leg, you can do so many things. Okay. This is a guard retention video. A simple answer to leg drag is pummel that hook in. It's going to make it quite difficult for him to pass. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up we're learning a really simple concept. Okay, this is called pedaling. Whenever somebody's trying to pass my guard, go ahead, try to pass my guard. Look, I'm always using one leg to push him away while retracting my opposite leg. So one leg is shooting forward, one leg is retracting, and it's kind of like I'm pedaling my bike. Okay, my partner's gonna do whatever he wants to pass. As he's trying to pass, look, I'm always trying to pedal. Go ahead, try to pass. Look, I'm always pedaling. I'm pushing with one leg and I'm defending with the other. Okay, this is just a concept, guys. When you're fighting guard, you never extend both legs. Okay. And of course, if you retract both legs, he's going to be able to close the distance on you. He's going to be able to spin you around, and it's not ideal. Okay, try whenever you're playing guard. Try to put pressure on me. You're always trying to push him away with one leg, and you're always trying to retract with the other. Whenever you find yourself in trouble, this is what you're looking to do. Okay, can you pass the guard any way you want? Look, I'm always pushing him with one leg and blocking with the other. Okay, now my hands. Can you rotate? My hands are either on the outside or the inside. Okay, so as I'm pedaling, my hands are supporting my legs, okay? Either at the knees and my elbows are touching the ground, or if he takes an angle on me, I start to put my hands on the inside. But the pedaling part is still true. Every time he tries to close the distance, I push him away with one leg and I retract with the other, okay? Now you can see my partner is at an angle, so my hands are more on the inside, okay? So you can come forward. I'm using my hands to assist my legs, okay? But my legs are really, they're really the star of the show, okay? If I don't use my legs correctly, I'm gonna get passed. Can you keep trying to pass here? He goes north-south. Look how I'm pushing him away with one leg, retracting another. Okay, this pedaling concept, it's a really powerful concept. Okay, keep going. Keep going. See, I'm using one leg always in a pedaling motion, okay? Like if you're riding a bike, okay? Just like if you're riding a bike. Your hands are on the outside more when he's in front of you, okay? If he takes an angle on me, I start to bring my hands to the inside. See, my hands are on the inside of my knee. If he tries to switch distance, look, I push him away with my legs, okay? The pedaling is super important. Guys, as you're pedaling, you're trying to reach his ankle. All open guard relies on me eventually spinning to an ankle, okay? Whether it's De La Hiva, reverse De La Hiva, or K guard, I have to get to that ankle. My partner's trying to pass the guard. I'm controlling my knees like we talked about in the video. I'm pedaling just like so. I'm making it very difficult for him to close the distance. And of course, when I see fit, I'm gonna reach for that ankle, okay? It's all about pedaling. If he takes an angle on me, see he's taking an angle, my hands start to come to the inside. My hands start to come to the inside. If he's out in front of me, my hands go to the outside, okay? If your partner is in front of you, hands to the outside. If he takes an angle, hands to the inside. We're creating that diamond shape we talked about earlier. Okay, guys, this is the pedaling concept. It's super simple. It's for you guys just to kind of like summarize everything. If you're in the heat of battle and you don't remember what to do, just start pedaling. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, next up. Whenever my partner is really advanced, okay, and he's jumping from one side of my body to the other, look, he's passing from one side. As I'm doing everything we learned, he's defending, and he goes to the other side. I'm defending on this side now, and he jumps back to the other side. Whenever you notice your partner is switching side to side, which is a very, very advanced style of passing, okay, this guy's really good. If he knows how to pass from one side to the other, he knows exactly what he's doing. Can you keep going? Here, guys, it's a losing battle for me because eventually I'm going to get tired. If I can't tie this guy up and slow him down, he's going to start to fatigue me, okay? Can you rotate? Go back. Actually, just jump to that side. Guys, this is when I start to elbow prop, okay? I create space. I got linear with the guy, and this guy's going to keep passing side to side. Guys, this is when I start to prop on my elbow. Okay, can you rotate? Can you move out of the way? Watch here. Look, when I get on one elbow, now I can pivot left and right. I have now a new locomotion point. Before, I was on my back, and I was trying to follow my opponent who's going side to side. Of course, as he's going side to side, I'd love to tie him up in a De La Hiva or K guard to end the cycle. Okay? But if I find it very difficult to grab his ankles because he's going side to side, I cannot stay in the cycle of shifting from one side to the other. He's going to beat me. I'm going to prop to one elbow. Once I prop to one elbow, now it's going to be really easy for me to pivot with him. Okay? So if Neil tries the same strategy and I'm propped to one elbow, again, guys, this is a much more advanced style of grappling. Okay? If he goes to one side, it's really easy for me to keep up with him. Can you rotate to the other side? It's really easy for me to keep up. As he's fighting here, I'm not in seated guard. I'm not prone on my back. I'm kind of in the middle. Now, everything I learned in this video is still true. It all works beautifully. But now, it's going to be much more difficult for him to fatigue me by going side to side. My partner goes from one side to the other. Look, he's getting tangled with my legs. He jumps to the other side. I don't need to switch elbow, guys. I just kind of rotate with him. I just kind of create a distance, and I rotate with my partner. Can you go to the other side? I have a much better locomotion point. I'm eventually going to tangle him up with my feet. Okay? It increases the reach of my feet. I want you to contrast that with this. Come over here. Let's say I'm on my side, and I reach for his feet like I just did. Look how my knees came out of my chest. He's going to use that to pin my legs down to the ground and start passing my guard. Okay? Can you go back? Look what happens when I prop on my elbow. Now I can reach for his foot. Can you move back a little bit? Look, I can reach his leg. Can you move even further? Look how far my reach is now. Okay, don't move. If I was here and I were to do that, if I'm reaching with my foot, look, it's really difficult. And now he can use that against me. Okay? When I prop up to one elbow, my partner's still at the same distance. Look how easy it is. And I still have my knee. Okay? So as Neil now is trying to fight me here, you could see that my knee is protecting my upper body from getting connected to his upper body. Okay? I also have a much greater reach. All because I propped on my elbow. Can you zigzag left and right? Can you go? Look, see how I'm tying him up? I'm tying up his feet, and now I can start to switch to other guards. I can start to entangle him, and attack my partner, okay? So we find ourselves on our back. Our partner's being very aggressive. He's going side to side. He's fatiguing me here. He's going left and right. Look how I start to prop on my elbow. When I prop on my elbow, I connect my knee and elbow always together, okay? If he tries to jump an armbar, my knee's gonna protect me. If he tries to jump a triangle, very difficult, okay? I'm not doing anything like so, okay? Now, yes, he can jump an armbar. Yes, he can jump and triangle choke me. But if my knee and elbow are connected, he's not gonna be able to do that. Neil, can you pressure pass me here? See, he's gonna get entangled in my feet, okay? We're gonna be able to make a connection. I'm propping up to my elbow. I'm creating a distance between me and him, okay? If he moves forward, I can shrimp back. If he zigzags left and right, I can follow him. Okay, I have a much better locomotion point. My locomotion point's increased. My reach is increased. My ability to entangle the inside of his legs is also increased. Okay? Guys, don't underestimate the value of propping up to your elbow. It makes it very difficult for him to jump side to side. It increases your reach. It keeps your knee between you and him at all times. And it's going to make it much more difficult for him to try to fatigue you by going side to side. Okay? Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you some key stretches that are going to help make guard retention so much easier, okay? Watch here, guys. You need simple, and very few exercises, okay? One exercise I'm going to use is just this deep squat, okay? I want to get my knees in my chest whenever somebody's trying to pass my guard, okay? And this kind of stretching, you find a nice little wall and you sit like so. And you just relax here, okay? You need to learn to put your knees into your chest. You need to be comfortable in this position. If there's any gap between your chest and your knee, your guard's gonna get more easily passed, okay? When I'm playing guard, you guys can see that I easily bring my knee into my chest. Some players, they have their knee out like so, and they're trying to regain guard. This is very difficult. This space between my chest and knee is very, very vulnerable. I need to have my knee tight to my chest, okay? So I need to practice bringing my chest, shoulder, and knees together. Okay. How do we do that? Well, you just chill on the wall like so. Okay. You learn to chill on the wall like so. After practice, you're nice and warm, and you take this nice stretch. If you want to increase the stretch, try to bring your chest out in front of your knees. Okay, just like so. Guys, this is a really simple stretch. You do it whenever it's convenient for you. I like to do it after practice. Once you've reached this level of mobility, after that it's just maintenance. Okay, you don't have to spend hours and hours all the time stretching. It's not true. You can see that I have that type of mobility that I need, and I comfortably maintain it once in a while with some comfortable stretching. If your knees are out here like so and you're not able to get closer, just spend more time in this position until slowly gravity helps push your knee, chest, and shoulders together. Okay? The more you can get your knee, chest, and shoulders together, the more you can get into these kind of positions, the harder it's going to be to pass your guard. It is crucial to have your knee, chest, and shoulders in contact when somebody's trying to pass your guard. If you lack that type of mobility, people will pass your guard, and no amount of technique is going to help you. Okay, you need to be able to bring your knee, chest, and shoulders together. Okay, so you can see how my chest and knee together. I have my shoulder and knee together. It's very crucial to have this type of mobility. If you don't, it's going to take more energy to retain guard, and your guard is going to get passed more often. Let's give it a try. All right, guys, another very important stretch is underhooking your own leg, okay? Once you underhook your own leg, you're gonna put your foot on the ground just like so. You're gonna underhook your own leg, you're gonna sprawl your left leg in the opposite direction, and you're just gonna kind of work this type of mobility here, okay? It's very important that I can lift my leg up and over my shoulders, okay? To protect myself from guard pass, this is a very important motion. You don't need to know 1,000,001 stretches, okay? But you need to know the most important. You can see that here, my shoulder is underneath my knee. I'm trying to get my shoulder underneath my knee. The more you can get your leg up and over your shoulder, the more difficult it's going to be to get past your legs, okay? So whenever somebody's trying to pass my guard, for sure I need my knee between my opponent and me, but sometimes I need my foot, okay? I have to pummel my foot around, and look, when I get that foot higher and higher, it makes it harder and harder for my partner to pass my guard. He would have to travel further than need be if my leg was down here. Okay, so I need to work my leg all the way up above my head, okay? So how do we do this? We just kind of underhook our own leg, okay? You underhook your own leg like this, you put it on the floor, and you sprawl the opposite leg in the opposite direction. And you just kind of stretch and get comfortable here. Okay, your job is to slowly dig your shoulder underneath your leg, okay? Nice and gentle, don't overstress your leg. Don't worry about how much time and how many reps and how many sets. Don't worry about that stuff at all, okay? Just do it till it's not comfortable doing it anymore. Work about 70 to 80% of your maximum, okay? Don't stretch, don't force too hard. Just be reasonable, okay? It's gotta be challenging, but comfortable to do, okay? Stretching It has to be done slowly. You got to give the time for muscles to relax and extend slowly. Okay, if you try to force the muscle into a relaxed state, you're just going to injure yourself and you're going to make the muscle tighter than before. Okay, work your leg slowly. Think of it as massaging your leg. Don't think of it as a workout. Okay, it's just like getting a massage. How long should you get a massage for? Well, when it stops feeling good, stop doing it. Okay, give a stretch on a regular basis. You'll get more flexible. If you try to do it all in one day, you're just going to injure yourself and you'll be less flexible than when you started. Okay, guys, I'm underhooking my leg. I'm trying to slide my shoulder underneath my knee. Okay, I'm underhooking my leg. I'm trying to slide my shoulder underneath my knee. And I'm getting that bend in my hip. Okay, this is very safe for the knees if you do it correctly, like I'm showing here. It's nice and relaxed. When somebody's trying to pass my guard, having this foot as close to my chest or behind my head as possible, that's going to allow me to make things a lot more difficult. Guys, sometimes I've seen guard players, they're so good at passing the leg behind their head that even with regular level of technique, they become almost impassable. Okay, so that stretch that I just demonstrated right now is incredibly important, and that's why I included it in the video. Okay, mobility, flexibility makes a massive difference in guard retention. I've seen guys who have incredible flexibility. After 2 or 3 years of training, they're almost unpassable. Okay, a good example of this was BJ Penn. He was able to win a world championship in Brazil, the first American to win a world championship in Brazil, in just about 3 or 4 years of training. Why? Well, I'll tell you, a big part of that was because of his mobility and dexterity in his legs. Okay, he had a lot of other great attributes. Okay, he was tenacious, he was technical, but also he had a lot of flexibility. Made his guard incredibly difficult to pass. Why? He had that ability to put his leg up and over his head, and it makes it just so difficult to get past those legs. Okay, guys, so I want to give you 2 stretches that are super important for guard retention. Let's give them a try. Okay, guys, next up, the next most important stretch is throwing up your leg just like so. Okay, from here, guys, you're going to be so often, when you're retaining guard, you're so often in this position. There's going to be pressure on top of your leg. And a lot of people, they complain about the LCL here, the ligament here gets injured or hurt or sprained. You need to develop strength in this area. Okay, so how do I like to do it? It's super powerful, this drill. You just throw one leg over the other. I'm going to slide my heel towards my hip. See, I slide my heel towards my hip, and I find the right amount of tension. Once I find a nice stretch, okay, I'm very flexible in this direction, but most of you guys who are beginner are not going to be able to get too close. Okay, so I'm going to give you like a beginner level example. Okay, once I get a nice stretch in my leg and I find there's tension in my leg, I'm going to start to push with my heel in the opposite direction. Okay, I'm doing an isometric here. I'm just going to do sets of 5 seconds. Okay, so I'm pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I relax my leg. Okay, once I relax my leg, I'm going to bring my heel a little bit closer. Okay, so I'm working flexibility and strength. Okay, I'm bringing my heel up a little closer. Now the stretch is a little bit deeper. Now I'm going to start to push with my heel in the opposite direction of my knee, and I'm going to drive into my knee with my right foot here. I'm driving. I'm going to hold for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to relax. Okay, don't worry so much about reps and sets. Just do it till it feels right. Okay, if you do this on a regular basis, you're going to become strong and flexible in this position. Guys, once you've done with your leg and you can go even further, use your upper body to bring your leg even tighter to your body. Okay, don't worry about progressing quickly. Worry about progressing continuously. Okay, now I have a nice tight grip on my leg. I'm going to start to extend my foot in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do sets of 5 and relax. As you get more advanced, you could do sets of 10, strengthen your leg with a little bit more endurance. Okay, guys, I'm going to do it again. You just throw your leg over the top, and now you can start to drive your ankle to your knee. Okay, you're doing a little isometric hold. You draw your heel a little bit closer. As you get more flexible, you draw your foot even closer to your hip. Okay, as you get more flexible. This is a very important position for retaining guard. So often when you're fighting in guard, you're going to have to get in this position. And a lot of time your opponents are going to put weight on top of your leg. If your hip and knee are not well trained, if you're not good with isometric hold, you could injure your LCL, and you could also abandon from bringing your leg between you and him, and they pass your guard. Okay, you have to have the strength, the mobility to bring your leg in and tight to your body so you could push your opponent away. Okay, this is a very, very important drill. I don't believe that you need 1,000,001 stretches. Okay, the 3 stretches that I showed you pretty much cover all you'll need to be a very, very advanced guard player. Okay, a great example of an athlete who has really, really good dexterity in his legs is BJ Penn. He is the first American to win the Mondial in Brazil. He got his black belt under 4 years, so it's an incredible accomplishment. Why did he get so good so fast in jiu-jitsu? Well, he had a very natural ability to bring his leg in this position. Okay, so if you have a natural ability to bring your leg in this position, you'll notice that those guys progress really quickly in guard retention. So we can train those movements in our legs, adapt our legs to being flexible, and it's going to make your technique much harder to get past. Okay, guys, don't underestimate the value of being flexible in the lower body. It's going to make guard retention much, much easier. Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I highly recommend that after practice, once you're finished rolling and nice and sweaty, your body's still warm, do those stretches that I showed you. Okay, do those stretches that I showed you until you develop a nice level of flexibility, and you'll notice that as you increase the flexibility in your legs, all the techniques that I showed you in this video are going to be a lot easier to do. Okay, the mobility and flexibility in your legs is going to directly correlate to how well you can retain guard. Of course, we need to strengthen our legs as well, but mobility and dexterity and flexibility in the legs will make it much easier for you to pummel your legs back inside and maintain your guard. Okay, so I highly recommend that if you're learning guard retention, make sure that after practice, once you're cooling down from your jiu-jitsu practice, cool down with those stretches that I was showing you in this video. Use only those basic 3 stretches. Okay, you don't need 1,001 stretches. You don't need 10,000 hours of yoga training. Okay, just use those specific stretches to develop the dexterity that's needed in your guard retention.